Hello and welcome to a very special episode of the Brave Room, and I really mean it this week. Before I introduce our guest, don't forget to leave a comment. You know, when this episode hits 1,000 plays, I take one of your terrible suggestions, whatever. Let's get on to the guest. With me today, we have Xian. Well, I guess Xian, why don't you introduce yourself to the guest? Because I don't think I could do it justice.
Okay, guys, I'm Xian. I'm a sponsored professional player from Razer, and I play fighting games professionally. I have been playing it for like 20 over years. It's a very big part of my life, and I just enjoy playing it.
Yeah, we did it. We were having the fighting game episode finally. So you're not familiar with this. My previous my co-host, not previous, she's still my co-host, Kit. She's not here today. Knows absolutely nothing about fighting games, so I cannot talk about them on the podcast with her. Every conversation goes the exact same way, where she goes, "I play Granblue versus, but only for the Granblue fancy rewards."
Oh, so you also play Granblue as well? I stopped for a while, but I actually still really enjoy playing that. It's just that I haven't really got a chance to, I have to focus on Street Fighter, it's just the tournaments are all coming up nearby.
Yeah, so. To be fair, Granblue isn't my main either. Granblue is like I call it like my peace offering game, where for non-fighting game people, because of the little like shortcuts, they can do like all the special moves without stressing out about quarter circles and all that stuff. So it's a good game to play with people for that. But yeah,
I think the inputs getting easier is really good for like newcomers and stuff. Like a lot of friends who don't play fighting game really enjoy Granblue because they can't turn a Shoryuken, so it's something that I feel is quite a success.
Yeah. It's funny that we're starting this off with Granblue talk. But yeah, no, because my brother also like terrible at inputs, but he loves Vasaraga and Granblue because his command grab is one button because of the shortcut. I guess two buttons, yeah.
Yeah, I think the one button really helps for the game. It's also easy to pick up, but like hard to master. This is like the new direction of most fighting games, and I really think it's a very cool thing to have.
Yeah, I'm glad we're jumping straight into this because fighting games like have gotten way easier. Like I played Plus R, like Guilty Gear Plus R, a few months back, and good lord, that game is hard to get into.
Now, compared to the Guilty Gear that just came out, I think it's a really big heaven and world difference. Like just the execution wise and the combos are just like a whole different world. I'm not too sure if like the older fans actually like it the way. I'm a lot of older friends who doesn't like the way now it is, but I do think that it brings a lot of new players and new bloods, so it's a double-edged sword.
Yeah, I should point out like Strive is my main game actually. I actually went to Evo this year.
you just joined Evo or?
Yeah.
Evo?
I mean, obviously, I didn't get as far as you did.
I actually played Strive, but I played a little bit late because as the Intel and the Evo going on. So I actually started like 3 weeks ago. Yeah, it's a little bit late, but I actually do play it.
Oh, what do you think about it so far then?
I think it's actually the damage is a lot in a way compared to like the old. Because I actually played Guilty Gear when I was young as well, so it's a very different experience compared to the older ones. I'm very sure the older players won't like the way it is right now, but I think it's very addictive to play. It's simple but fun. I do really like it though.
Yeah. Because I played Xrd before Strive, and so I went back and watched like some Xrd tournament footage because they still refused to put Elfelt in Strive. So I was watching some Elfelt tournament footage, and those matches are so long compared to Strive. Strive's like you lose neutral 3 times. That's it.
Yeah. I don't even think it's 3. There's a lot of times like if you fight, like when I was using chip and I was just playing, and it's just 2. Most of the time it's actually 2. So I think it's a really fast game. That's why like there's a lot of opinion and controversy around it, but at least I enjoy it, I feel.
Yeah, yeah. Like, I love the wall break so much. Like, just being able to set back the neutral. It's,
But the wall break sometimes is actually really damaging enough, really, the combo. Getting back to neutral is a really nice thing, since like every combo kind of really hurts in the game.
yeah.
So yeah.
I mean,
And the one button dash is something I really, really like in the game.
oh
I
yeah,
feel
yeah.
that is something that restricts like execution for a lot of players. I don't know if players play it because they like to do the air dash, but the one button dash is something I always thought is a very good macro to have in the game itself,
yeah,
because
yeah.
it's not, it doesn't hurt your hand to keep doing air dashing, like for players with weaker execution, I think.
I have it bound to on my fight stick, so it's on my pinky, always ready to dash, man. So obviously, like, you like Street Fighter.
Mhm.
So for those of you not aware, Xian here won the Asia regionals for Evo, right?
Yep.
Yep. I watched that match, man. I wish I could play Street Fighter that well, basically.
I mean, I've been playing it since young, and I felt like this 1.5 year is one of the times where I felt like the community got to the strongest it ever been because of COVID. Because everyone is playing a lot every day because they're staying at home. A lot of people came back to play, and the level has gotten a lot better, which is something that I desire a lot because I always want to have good training partners, right?
Yeah.
Before I travel. But now they are all my opponents, So it was a very different feeling, but it's a really nice to see people leveling up as well.
Yeah, yeah. I had that same thing happen in the Strive ranked mode, the tower. So I am like on average between floor 7 and floor 8 out of 10. And one weekend, it just seemed like everyone climbed one tower. So like floor 7 was suddenly playing like floor 8. And I was just like, everyone got better. And I'm just like, no, I'm supposed to feel good here.
Yeah. The speed that people actually get better is actually pretty fast right now.
Yeah. You've dipped your toes in a lot of different games. Can you talk about like how it feels compared to Street Fighter 5, which is like that game change? I feel that game changes every year. Like there's always another big update to Street Fighter 5.
Basically, Street Fighter 5 every year has like an update. I feel like it's more going towards the esports direction. It's like Dota and other games where like, since Street Fighter is like the biggest out of all the fighting games, right?
Yeah.
With the most prize money. So it's necessary to always put out fresh content, to change the meta of the game, to keep it interesting. And for content creators, like if they don't update the game every half a month or like a year, like I don't even have content to play around with, it will actually get pretty boring as well. So I think it's a very good direction of how things actually are. So for people that didn't like the way now it is, I think it will just move on eventually. But I do believe like the new, more and more content creators are coming out because of this pandemic. From competitive, they switch to like half, creating more contents, and it's a direction that will go pretty far in my opinion, especially not knowing when COVID will end.
Yeah. But are you the type who would have gone to like local events?
Yes, I actually used to hold like weekly versus weekly. So it's something that I hold offline every week. So I do it for all the games, even Smash. I just put all the new games and usually Tekken, Street Fighter. But then it depends on which game community is available. I just put like 5-6 fighting games. It was a very big venue that time. It was provided by Singtel that time. But then COVID strikes and that place became a cluster. after like a few months like later,
Yeah.
when I was hoping like like when it hits with the CB, right, I was like, okay, so we are on CB, so this is over, we are stopping this. Then I was thinking like maybe after CB it would return. I was like, it lasted till today, yeah. So
Yeah.
it didn't, yeah, it was online until today, yeah. So that how the whole story actually went.
I'm glad to hear that you do that though, because I think a lot of people think that getting good at a fighting game is just I'm going to pick up the game.
Mesh.
I'm going to press it. I'm going to learn combo. I'm going to learn this one combo, do it perfectly every time, and then I'm going to win Evo and buy a boat or something. But they forget that like you're not going to have fun until you're part of the community in some way.
I think making friends and learning about the game is a great part of in fact not only fighting games, in fact everything. And fighting game is really deep in a way. When people get to interact it, they get to enjoy like how much it can go deeper into it. So I'm really happy that people are willing to try fighting games out. So a lot of people really have the perspective like it's just pressing the button harder,
Yeah.
or like pressing more buttons, but it's just like the piano. It doesn't work if you randomly press something,
Yeah.
So I also wish to change the perspective of people who doesn't play fighting games. So that's always been my goal. So even now with the pandemic, I just do online events every 2 weeks, so that the community can still play for Street Fighter 5 like online.
Yeah. Do you get a lot when you were allowed to have your weeklies? Did you ever get like anyone new show up to the weeklies and be like, hey, I want to learn a game?
Actually, there's always someone new when I do the weeklies, because it was a big venue, and I combine all the different games, Melee, Street Fighter, and like the newer games that came out, that DBZ, Mortal Kombat, and Tekken. That's the usual, and it's about 100 120 people turning up for the offline event, and I think it's a lot. Although now it would have been a real disaster with COVID.
Yeah.
But during those times, I feel like it's really good. And I'm really sad that COVID has to hit at the exact moment. Like, my offline is doing really good and it have to change to online. I felt that the online, the people who join is significantly lesser. Just because it's not interactive, and it's just a different experience.
Yeah, definitely. I think I've mentioned this on the podcast multiple times already, but yeah, I used to attend, because I was studying in the UK for a year, and I used to attend the weeklies there. It was in a bowling alley in Bristol, and it was so much fun there. Like, as fun as it is playing online, it's more fun when you're actually next to the person.
Yeah, when you get interaction, you can talk about the game, what is happening. You also learn faster as well.
Yeah. Especially if the person's gonna be like, okay, yeah, no, here, because I remember it was the launch weekend for Granblue. So we had like, so there was a guy there who had like been playing the game non-stop. So he was there teaching everyone new Granblue stuff.
They always have this kind of person it's just like a class with like just different personality of people in the offline scene. It's always interesting to meet these people.
So he was like teaching me the importance of like the spot dodge, because you can do that perfect dodge in Granblue. And he's like, yeah, some attacks you can only spot dodge them. Don't bother trying to. And I was just like, that's really clever. I wouldn't have figured this out on my own. This would have taken 6 6 hours on my own to learn. Oh.
Yep.
But yeah, no, I'm glad there's one other person here who agrees with me on the importance of like the social interaction part, because I think a lot of people kind of get obsessed with the winning part, right?
Especially the better players. It's always there'll always be people who just care about the wins, but I feel like that is not a bad thing, because the people who always care about win or is very egoistic about the wins, will always bring drama, and in a way it produces value because like people like watching drama, especially like beefs between players, rivalries. It always creates something hype for other people to look forward, so in any way it will always have something good coming out about, like just not get too unfriendly about something. Like you have like a first to 10 because he just don't like the way you play the game or the way you behave. So I do think it's still pretty hype in a way.
Yeah, I agree, but then there's of course there's always the people who like take it too far, like
Yes.
this. It's like wrestling, there's nothing funnier than watching someone like talk way more game than they actually have and then get their butt kicked. It's great.
Yes, everybody like watching that. Yeah, so I do as well. I like to see the people who talk a lot, and then when they lost, it's just kind of funny in a way, in a different way
Yeah.
of enjoying how it is.
But then when you have like the serious drama people, like the ones who like take it way too far,
Well, COVID has provided a lot more of players like this since it's the online world. But I guess we are pretty used to it since we've been on the internet for 20 over years. I guess we are very used to how the internet works.
Do you ever get any hate mail from when you play people online?
Yeah, actually, even up till today, I still get those. Like it's always on the PSN inbox, the Steam, like even when traveling, it's rare, but then like you definitely still get some. And I don't think I'm very aggressive when it comes to interpersonal relationship and stuff. Like I'm usually more chill, I feel. So I think if I get hate mail, everyone should, more or less, most of the players should get some. Yeah, it's just something that can't be avoided.
So every single person I've brought to on this podcast to talk about esports related things, I always have to bring up do you read the Scrubquotes Twitter?
Actually, sometimes I do, but then like not all the time. Like people always tag the Scrubquotes, when they actually someone says something, so I end up with like browse a little while when that happens.
It's cathartic, isn't it? Because it's like whenever I have to explain the appeal of Scrubquotes to people, it's always like we've all felt it at one part, but this guy said it.
Yes. Yeah, it's something that always gamers interrelate themselves in a way, and I think it's like a moment where gamers understand it, and it's just really funny at that point.
Yeah, it's like I understand the feeling, but you shouldn't have said it, and now you're on Scrubquotes for everyone to see and laugh.
Yes. That's the powerful of the social media right now.
Yeah. And I don't know, I always recommend like before you do ranked or something, to always like read a few Scrubquotes just to like keep yourself humble.
I think those are like new players usually, so when they didn't really realize it, and that's why I really enjoy offline play more, because I think once people interact with like people, they don't talk like this anymore. So
there's a real person next to you. What, you're gonna call him a cheater right when he's right there next to you?
Yes, actually people don't do that offline. Yeah, in the online world it's just a lot more scarier.
Yeah.
So I guess it's just the way it is.
That's my dream, by the way, to receive to be accused of cheating.
That means you have been doing a good job.
Yeah,
you have
exactly.
been playing the game well.
Exactly. I want to play well enough that someone says that I'm cheating, is what I want. So, I think in general, like the FGC, it's a lot different from other esports. Some people won't even call fighting games an esport. So like, one question I need to ask is, you're sponsored by Razer, right? You're on Team Razer.
Yep.
What does that mean when you're playing a primarily single player game?
I think the really good part about single player game is you do get to control your faith. Like I feel like the win losses is you get to control it. Whereas in a team game, when you win, sometimes you don't win just because you play well, because it's still a team game after all. You do need not the strongest teammate, but you need coordination. You need to practice together. You need to be on the same frequency. There's a lot more. It's a different kind of atmosphere and enjoyment. I do think team tournaments have a little less stress because there's a lot of company, like when they are practicing together. But in a way, I feel like they are more stressed at the same time if they have bad teammates. Like every day feels pretty much bad because like you are very pressured to perform. But the good thing about single game for me, I felt like it's you do control, like the excuses doesn't really work for me when you lose, since you're playing a single player game.
Yeah, so, you can blame your support in a MOBA. You can be like, why didn't you heal me going in? But in a fighting game, I whiffed the DP and now I'm eating 80%. Like, whose fault is that? Guess what?
And actually, like saying an opinion will probably get you the Scrubquotes, maybe, if you get too extreme about it. So I guess that's the beauty part about fighting game. I like having some control over it.
But yeah, no, that is legit, because I tried playing a MOBA several times. The most recent one was Pokemon Unite, and like just having the excuse of blaming my teammates was like really, really bad for me, because nothing ever became my fault.
Yes, this is very generic of a human to actually. It's very normal, so there's nothing wrong. I mean, if I play a team game, I would probably may have done the same thing.
Yeah, especially if you're playing like, you know, you're solo queuing, so it's like 4 strangers you're playing with, right? So it's just like, oh yeah, this guy doesn't know what he's doing because I have no way of checking.
Yes, especially with strangers.
Yeah, again, you know, I go 0-30 on the tower in Guilty Gear, and I'm just like, yeah, no, that's no one's fault but mine.
Yeah, it's a reality check sometimes, but it's also cruel at times, you know. So I guess maybe we can play both. I do like that people enjoy all kinds of games instead of just. I think there are a lot of people who like play one game and they always try to boycott another game. I think that's the worst kind that I didn't like it.
Yeah, it's like everyone has their things they enjoy. Just let them.
Yeah. In fact, they can just play both games at the same time, and they don't have to shit on another game because like they don't like it. I guess maybe that's the word that I wish it would be.
Yeah, I mean, I find it's not even between genres. Sometimes it can even be like within fighting games. Like I knew a guy who was a Tekken player who just would not stop giving me crap for not liking Tekken.
Yes, there are actually a lot of, especially fighting game, it really happen really often. Like if a Street Fighter player, he doesn't play Tekken, he just say Tekken is, you know, easy, and Tekken player will say Street Fighter is a scrap game. It happened a lot between like just fighting games alone. So now that's why I really like meeting people offline, because I like to offer them a perspective that, hey, you know what, you can play both games and enjoy it and make more friends together. Yeah.
Okay, so I need to ask you this question, because this is a question I won't be able to ask anyone else who comes on the podcast. What to you is the joy of fighting games?
I think at different point in my life, the joy of fighting game is always different. I think when I was young, I was obsessed with winning. I really enjoy winning because it was playing in arcade, and I felt like winning allows me to continue playing the game, you know. So the goal was different. So I also enjoy learning more about the game, but then like in a way I learn it so that I can win more. So it's just a very competitive side of me. But as I grew older, like at a certain point, I enjoy the hangouts, you know, discussion about the game when I was with the community and friends. You know, like I really enjoy like the supper sessions, you know, talking about the different weird players or the weird play styles as it goes, and going on after achieving winning a lot of champions. And I have a different kind of joy right now. Is I really love to share, like enjoy sharing things about the game. I feel like I'm in a different role in different part of my life, and right now my role, I felt like I just want to bring more people in the fighting game, and I want to share to like the younger generations, how to get better in the game. I don't want them to walk the same path as I do, like to save the time to get even stronger or better. So the sharing part, when you see them achieving something, I think it was a joy that is very hard to describe, and it's the best for me right now.
Yeah, that's definitely it. So I've only got one friend in my circle who I play Guilty Gear with, and so we will play like I think 50 games, and the final score usually ends up like 644.
Yeah, that's very normal.
Yeah. And like I have a few friends who are quite competitive, and they say like, how do you keep doing that? Like, doesn't that make you not want to play the game if every time you play, like, the score is that one-sided?
Yeah, but it can still be fun if whether you
it's
win
fun.
or lose. Yeah, it's never really about the win and losses. Like, if it's only about the win and losses, then it will be not that fun of a game.
Yeah, it's like, once I like to say like it's once you no longer care about the winning and losing side, you start to appreciate like the small moments in every fighting game. Like Guilty Gear has that clash mechanic, so 2 moves hit at the same time, you can both immediately press a button to press something else. And
that is at the hype click moment most of the time when that happens.
Yeah, and my friend is frustrated because I buffer a lot of my inputs because I play a mix-up character, and so every time we clash, my next attack will immediately come out. It'd be like, how long were you buffering that? Why?
Yes.
You freaking ape! Why are you doing that?
Yeah, that's the best part about calling names and stuff.
Yeah. But yeah, it's just like, it doesn't matter, like, he still won anyways, but the fact that you have these small moments that you can talk about, it's always the most fun.
It's all became memories and stuff, and I have so much of this.
Right? It's just fun.
Yeah, fun is the word. Yeah, it's very hard to describe it, but yeah, it's something really fun.
Yeah, I get what you mean though, like, I hope you get to have your weeklies back, because if you can have your weeklies back and I can have my travel back, then I'm showing up.
Yes.
I'll bring Vanilla.
Yeah, you can. You're definitely welcome. I mean, whenever you hop over, like, I do really look forward, because now it's become a Discord gaming, most of the time.
Yeah.
I think Discord has grown a lot during this period, and everyone is using Discord, and yeah, it's not as bad, but then I do wish that the offline experience would come back, for everyone, like not only me, hopefully.
Yeah, definitely. Do you want to talk a bit about your time at EVO?
Yes, I think this November I'll be traveling for the EVO at the 25th to 29th.
Yeah.
Since I qualified for the EVO, so the win the grand final, be competing with the different regions. So that would be, I'm pretty sure it's confirmed, but then I'm not very updated with the situation of the COVID when it comes to like overseas travels and stuff.
Yeah.
I've been recently taking more notice about it, but very high chance that I will still be going, because it'll be at Vegas, and we'll see how things goes.
Yeah.
That's the plan moving forward.
But like, how was the Asia portion of that? Do professional players get nervous at all?
I think professional players don't get as nervous because they always compete, every month, or like every twice a month, traveling to compete, because there's a lot of tournaments. So I feel like professional players tend to get used to it. They will still be nervous, but definitely a lot lesser than players who don't join tournament as much, you know. But then I feel like now it's all became an online environment, temporarily for now. So I feel like this actually increased the difficulty because like a lot of players don't feel nervous playing at home with their boxers, or like just it's a very calm environment for everyone, and there's no social pressure and stuff. So it's a very it makes everybody try out their dream, I guess, since they are working from home. A lot of people are trying out. I have friends working and gaming, at the same time. It's actually like pretty common right now.
Ben, I get what you mean about the whole like newer players will get totally nervous. I had to start wearing gloves when I played because that's how nervous I got. Like I would get like too sweaty to hold my stick.
The sweaty palm. Yeah, actually, there's something that happens a lot. Like for like players who are not used to it, like the sweaty palms and stuff.
Yeah, but also like playing at home. I don't know about other players, but because I live with my parents, so my number one fear was being interrupted while I was playing. Like
I think this is very typical of an Asian, like because we live with our parents. But I think we get used to it eventually.
Yeah. I told them beforehand, like, hey, yo, when I'm in the living room, I'm gonna be like, listen, I already had the audacity to go join Evo despite sucking at Guilty Gear, but I need like 100% focus.
Yes.
For
me myself, like whenever like if I have a big tournament online, especially this 1-2 year, like my parents will actually go down to eat during those periods. Like that is they usually plan their schedule around mine, so that is it's very rare. Like this year there's only like twice just for Intel and Evo. For the rest of the tournament they are just in the living room with me, watching me play, and yeah, that's how it is.
Am I allowed to ask you about Netcode?
Yes.
Yeah, we're not gonna get in trouble if we talk about Netcode.
Yeah, because I'm not gonna say anything negative.
Okay, so the delay works, actually.
Yeah, I guess it's not too good to speak too negative of stuff, but I have to speak the truth, but then in a more positive way. I guess I'm quite used to saying that since most fighting game actually doesn't have good netcode since the beginning.
Yeah.
At least that's from my experience.
Yep,
so you can just ask what you want.
It's pretty much it. Like, what are your thoughts on the netcode debacle?
I think that a lot of people actually said Street Fighter V has very bad netcode, like the CFN and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
But I actually think it's not really that true, because like over the years of playing game like fighting games for like 10 over years, actually every fighting game that I play has really bad netcode. Like it just doesn't really work. Like Marvel, when I play Marvel, King of Fighters, none of the Street Fighter 4, like it just doesn't. It's never good online. Like it's just never a good game. Even GBBS, it wasn't good online as well.
Yeah.
So I feel that people tend to compare to like privileged games, like why is Street Fighter netcode not like Dora or like other, or maybe what is the good, like Guilty Gear? Like this is like the first time like Guilty Gear actually has good netcode.
Yep.
Because in the past, every iteration it doesn't really have like good netcodes. So it's people trying to pick out something out of nothing. So I feel that the netcode isn't really that big of an issue. It's just that people are so entitled to like good connection nowadays. They feel like a 3-frame delay is not acceptable online when we are playing from like different countries. Yeah.
3 frames is about normal, yeah.
Yeah, but people are just people want it to be the same as offline, but I think people are just over exaggerating it. So it isn't really the netcode. I know there are games where like it's really like the netcode spot, but I think for Street Fighter 5 it's really not as bad.
For the listeners, I'd like an example I'd like to give you guys an example of a Xrd netcode versus Strive netcode. So my friend lives across the street from me, literally just a 5-minute walk down the road. We were having terrible delay on Xrd to the point that we stopped playing, like we stopped using Xrds online, and we were using Parsec to play locally instead.
Yeah, Parsec is also a pretty good option to have.
Yeah, and then compared to Strive, where I'm literally playing against people in Japan and being like, oh hey, look, like 2-frame delay, maybe 3.
Yeah, that's the one of the biggest motivator why people actually play Strive, in my opinion. Like people just want to play with Japanese or like longer, more options of variety of player, and not get restricted by the netcode.
I remember I went online on Xrd once and played a dude from South Korea, and it was the greatest slideshow I'd ever seen.
Yes.
You wanna try instant blocking when everything moves that slow?
Some things is just not too possible.
Yeah. But yeah, that's pretty much it for the netcode thing. I wanted to ask, like, how does like Team Razer like support you essentially?
I think Team Razer has shown me a lot of support, especially during this time of pandemic. You know, like it's not only they have shown me support through just like sending me items and stuff. I feel like during these times, you know, a lot of players a lot of sponsors have dropped their players, you know, because of the COVID, you know, and stuff. Mm-hmm. But then I still feel really glad that they are still supporting, even giving me more support during this time for, you know, my streaming. You know, like they're always asking about what stuff I need, sending me stuff, you know. And in times like this is where you really see what a real sponsor is. Like, so it's very, I feel really appreciated, you know, like when I see social media, when I saw a lot of the people is getting, especially FGC is not something as big as, you know, dollar and stuff.
Yeah.
You know, so I feel very appreciated that things are still, I'm still getting so much support, you know, especially knowing it's a Singapore company. I felt even more, it just feels great.
Yeah, that's good to know. And I think that about wraps it up for us here, like for the episode. Thank you so much, everyone, for listening. Thank you to Xian for coming on and entertaining my stupid questions about the fighting.
No questions are ever stupid.
No,
it's pretty fun. It's a nice conversation.
I got one that I'm sure will break that rule and be stupid. Can I go to your weeklies and set up Melty Blood in the bathroom?
COVID, maybe not.
No, after COVID. This is a fantasy for after COVID.
I mean, I'm pretty open to anything. We will definitely talk about that after COVID. That's for sure.
But yeah, thank you so much, Xian, for coming on the podcast.
Thank you so much.
And thank you guys for listening. Don't forget to rate us, whatever. Leave your comments on the podcast. This has been Wan Amirul from the Brave Room. Take care, guys.